a brief introduction of this seminar series and a couple of other things that we have been doing. So I'm going to, this semester's seminar series, we had a theme of culturing education in America, and we started with Professor Maureen Hall, who had been to India, and she will be giving a brief remarks momentarily. And she was in India on a Fulbright, and the Fulbright was related to the SALT model, which is the topic of discussion today. And then we had Professor Madhusuri Prakash from Penn State University, who gave the Mahatma Gandhi Memorial Lecture Series, one in the noontime, one in the evening, and she talked about Mahatma Gandhi, Illich, Berry, and Tagore, about their role in education. And of course, we have this one today, and I will speak a little bit more about this a little bit later. And we have an upcoming lecture in this series, which will be given by Elena Rosenbaum, who is from UMass Medical School, and she will be talking about mindfulness in medicine, educating patients and doctors about mindfulness. And that will be next month on December 2nd. So I hope you will join that. That's a very interesting lecture that's going to be coming. And a couple of other events that's going on campus. There's one going on tomorrow, and this is Tender Heart Educational Society fundraiser. And this is about a school in India, in the state of Haryana. And there is a woman by the name of Elena Kolan. She had been to India, and she got so influenced by this that she had joined hands to help them out. And tomorrow is going to be a lot of musical Indian food, music, and other cultural performances. It's going to be in the Woodland Commons, and at 7 p.m. tomorrow. And I hope many of you will be able to make to that. And another event that is coming up on the campus is on 19th of December, which is also a Saturday, the India Student Association's Diwali program, which is generally very well attended and fantastic. And again, there will be a lot of performances and then food. And something just came up, a very interesting event that the Center for Indian Studies is going to host. And this is based on a book written by, some of you know, Raju Malhotra of Infinity Foundation. He also happens to be the chairman of the Board of Governors of the Center for Indian Studies. His latest book just came out, Being Different, an Indian Challenge to Western Universalism. And he will be presenting mostly from his book. And there will be a commentary by Professor Francis Clooney of Harvard University, who has read this book and has given his endorsement. And this is going to be on December 5th, 3 to 5 p.m. We expect several departments and faculty join us. At this point, Charlton College of Business, which is this building, this whole building is for Charlton College of Business, and the Department of Political Science, they are co-sponsoring this event. We expect faculty and students join, so we have arranged this event at the UMass main auditorium. With that, I want to go back to today's seminar series. I wanted to give just a very brief introduction. I know there will be several other introductions given to it, but I want to just talk about the generosity of the Ramsamooj family to start this endowment, where there will be Acharya Ramsamooj Arya lecture series that will support goals and vision to inform the global ambassadors of tomorrow, to promote humanistic perspective and applications of knowledge, and to disseminate these best practices to the broader community, thereby advancing dialogue that enhances diversity and inclusion. And this will be supporting lectures on Vedic tradition, Indian diasporic experiences, and as may be applicable to studies of the Arya Samaj movement in Caribbean and abroad. And and for visiting lecturers who support the goals and vision of UMass Dartmouth to highlight India's time-tested eternal values for world progress, peace, and harmony, and to cultivate the relevance of ancient Indic human values through scholarly understanding and academic pursuit. Before I invite Dean Hogan to give a brief introductory remark for the center, I want to just briefly recognize the Ramsamooj family who were members of Ramsamooj family who are here. 5 brothers, of course, Pandit Ramadeen Ramsamooj, who is speaker. In addition to him, his 4 other brothers, Ravideen Ramsamooj, Mitra Ramsamooj, Vinay Ramsamooj, and Oja Ramsamooj are here. And Mitra's wife, Vasti, is also here. I think she's the only lady in sari, so when you can easily recognize. Can I ask Ravideen to just, Ravideen ji, can you just raise your hand so everybody knows who you are? That's Ravideen, please. And Mitra around? Just Mitra's wife is representing him, I guess. Vasti is there. Vinay around? Stepped out. They're all working very hard, I think, for the lecture. And Oza is there, I can see him. Thank you very much. And we will be giving a more introduction to Pandit Ramsamooj's mother, Sukhdiya Ramsamooj, who is here, and we will be giving more. One more person I want to recognize, and like I said, we will be giving a little bit more introduction, is that, as you know, some of you know that Pandit Ramsamooj is running a very good school in New Hampshire, in Hudson, New Hampshire, and one of the teachers, Karen Cabral, is here. Karen, if you can just stand. For those, I would like to now invite Professor William Hogan, who is the Dean of Arts and Science College, and he will be, which is where the Center for Indic Studies is located, its program is located, and I'm so grateful that Dean Hogan has been able to make some time to spend.
Thank you, Balaram. Welcome to our campus, everyone. We're especially pleased to see so many members of the Ramsamooj family. And I would like to take this opportunity to express the gratitude, not merely of the Indic Studies Center, about which I'd like to say a little in just a minute, but the College of Arts and Sciences, and indeed, not only UMass Dartmouth, but our whole area, our whole community here in southeastern Massachusetts. This is the contributions that are made by the activities of the Center for Indic Studies, and in particular, the lecture series that is being presented here, and the support that has been given to our institutions and our part of the world by the Ramsamooj family has really enriched our experience as scholars, as people who are engaged in higher education, but also fundamentally as human beings. I think we all share, to some extent at least, a sense that these ancient values that are so valued in Indian culture are really universal, and they have an application to all of us. The Center for Indic Studies is one of the centers in the College of Arts and Sciences, which is by far the largest of the 5 undergraduate colleges at UMass Dartmouth. There is, although I sometimes have to remind Balaram that there is this wall between, there is a very closely associated academic program known as the Indic Studies program, which right now, as of today, involves the offer of an undergraduate minor. See, academic programs can offer degrees or minor parts of degrees. The Indic Studies Center itself, a separate institution, but very closely affiliated, and the same person wears both hats as the director of these two, is more involved with cultural advancement, outreach to the communities, scholarship, research, and the propagation of a respect for all things related to the Indian subcontinent. We've heard in the last, I don't know, week or so, today is November 4th, I think. On Monday, October 31st, the news in the headlines was that the 7 billionth person was born. So the population of the world, as of Monday, was 7 billion. Of course, it's quite a few billion more than that, now that it's Friday. And the estimate was that that 7 billionth person was probably born in India. So there are apparently something in the vicinity of 1,200,000,000 people in India now, second to China, with a forecast that by approximately somewhere in the vicinity of 2025 to 2030, the population of India will exceed that of China. So there seems to be some important developments that occur. Of course, I didn't count them myself, but there seem to be some very important elements and patterns and trends that will have a major effect on the world that we live in the next several decades. And of course, we all won't get to see as much of it as some of you will. The young people here, as I understand, are students in Pandit's school. And so I want to ask you students to stand up for just a minute and be recognized as the hope of the future. We're so glad you've come to our campus. We can just stand and applaud to these young people who carry with them the responsibilities and the joys of creating life for the next century or so. And now, students, now that you're standing, I want to ask you to join me in a little bit of an applause for your teacher, our guru, our science guru. This is, please be seated. Thank you for indulging me in this exercise of an expression of gratitude around the room. This is a really magnificent accomplishment that you've made. I'm really pleased that you were here for a while, and you may be coming back, we never know, but you're doing great work up in the hills of New Hampshire and around them. We never got rid of them, kind of thing. We're very pleased. So I would like to say, you've already seen some of the kinds of events. The Center for Indic Studies is one of our most active institutions on this campus. You have seen a preview of coming attractions. I hope that some of you at least will be able to take advantage of them. This is only a sample of the kind of activity that enriches our campus and brings an exposure to, an awareness of, and an appreciation of the culture of India and its various subpopulations. The Center for Indic Studies is very fortunate to have an extremely distinguished board of people who have agreed to provide advice and sometimes some financial support as well, for which we are very grateful to them. And I know that most of them are not here, but I would like to at least acknowledge the work and the contributions that they make. And to the best of my limited ability, I'm going to try to do this alphabetically by last name. Mr. Mukesh Chatter is the trustee of the BVM Foundation and based in Concord, Massachusetts. Ambassador Prabhu Dayal is the Consul General from India, has a base in New York City, and I suspect also in New Delhi, most likely. We hope that comfortable bases both. Mr. Michael Etoff is here. He is the Assistant Chancellor for Advancement. Thank you, Master Michael. We're very grateful for all that you have done for the center and for everything else that needs support. Dr. Jay Glasser, who is an MD, is based in Sterling, Massachusetts. Dr. Anita Goel, also an MD, Chairman and CEO of Nanobiosim in Cambridge, Massachusetts, so that some of Balaram's interests in biology, chemistry, biophysical chemistry in particular, and scientific research are, in a sense, provide a little bit of a flavor to the board as well. I'm losing my place as usual. That's Sashi Kirali is president of MET International from Carrollton, Texas. Rajiv Malhotra, who has already appeared here on your screen, is the president of the Infinity Foundation, is based in Princeton, New Jersey, and has agreed to chair the board of advisors for the Indic Studies Center for the next term. has been doing this and has been a major contributor to everything that's happened here. And then, certainly not the least, Pandit Ramsamooj, who is the president of the 3 R's Foundation that has been advocating the creation and implementation and dispersion of the SALT model. So we call him our SALT guru because he's an expert at SALT. And he has done a great deal to contribute. He has been an instructor here. He has taught some Hindi language courses. He's also taught some Indic studies culture courses. We're very lucky to have him in our community. So I welcome you to our campus. I thank you for coming today and taking the time. I hope you will enjoy this lecture, and I hope you will take advantage of the other opportunities that are available on our campus, sponsored by the Center for Indic Studies. It's now my pleasure, I think I'm supposed to do this, to talk about Maureen Hall, who is Associate Professor of Teaching and Learning, a department formerly known as Education, but they moved. They went out from the College of Arts and Sciences and started their own school. So many people in this room have started their own schools. It's extraordinary. Maureen had a sabbatical last year, turned it into a full-year sabbatical. She applied for and received a Fulbright Foundation Fellowship, to use a little alliteration. But this is a really significant distinction, both in the United States and internationally, to have been awarded one of these support for what she's done. I've already said too much, so I will let Maureen talk about her experience in India, and in particular, her work with the SALT model of education. Super accelerated learning theory.
So thank you, all of you. I'm glad to be here, and I'm grateful to Pandit and to Balaram and to the Center for Indic Studies. I was able to spend 7 months in India last year, and the nature of my Fulbright was a research study on the super accelerated learning theory, which many of the students from the school in New Hampshire are engrossed in that learning. What I did is I took 5 components: visualization, mnemonics, multiple intelligences, learning through yoga and meditation, and learning through narrative or story, and turned those into classroom practices at Balaram's school. Balaram, as a true humble Indian, won't tell you much about it, but he has a school in the village where he grew up, and it's a very interesting school. They teach Sanskrit, Hindi, and English there, and there are Muslims and Hindus that work cooperatively, and it's eventually going to be a school just for girls, and I think that's pretty remarkable. So I actually used Robert Frost's poetry. How many of you know Robert Frost's poetry? A few people in here. So I actually used some of that poetry with the teachers at Balaram's school, mainly for the visualization piece and also the learning through narrative or story. So probably some of you know The Road Not Taken. 2 roads diverged in a yellow wood, and be one traveler long I stood and looked down both of them as far as I could. And it's about making choices and decisions. And so part of that SALT piece was mapping your own life onto a narrative and learning that way. So we did lots of experiments on that. I did work with some students, but I'm yet to be a speaker of Hindi, so that was somewhat of a problem, although I just kept talking. And I had some translators, so it didn't stop me. But anyway, I want to keep it brief. Higher education people have a hard time doing that, but I'm going to stay true to the briefness. And thank you so much for having me here. And I think the super accelerated learning theory has so many pieces of just good teaching and good learning that I'm sure it's sustainable across centuries.
I know we really want to move on to the lecture that we are here for, but there are a couple more introductory remarks, and then we'll move on. So one of them is that, of course, none of us mentioned that yet, is that 3R Foundation, which is a foundation that is directed by Pandit Ramsamooj, a couple of years ago made a donation of $1 million to advance the SALT model of education. And the person who really manages that is Michael Etoff, who is the Assistant Chancellor for Advancement And so he's going to say a few words, and there will be a brief presentation. Michael.
Okay, as Balram indicated, my name is Mike Leethoff. I'm the Assistant Chancellor of Advancement at UMass Dartmouth. In simplest terms, what I do is I direct all the fundraising and alumni relations activities here at the university. And today I've been given the distinct honor of recognizing Pandit Ramsamooj for his contributions to UMass Dartmouth. Over the years, I've had the distinct pleasure of getting to know Pandit and his unwavering commitment to the Center for Indic Studies. His support of the Super Accelerated Learning Theory program within the Center of Indic Studies and his sponsorship of this lecture series illustrates both his generosity and his leadership. In fact, Pandit has set an example by which we expect others to follow. In the next month, the Center for Indic Studies will formally launch a $10 million capital campaign in recognition of the center's 10-year anniversary. Dedicated to supporting sciences, education, and the arts, this campaign will position UMass Dartmouth and the Center for Indic Studies in a unique situation to provide an academic mainstream voice on all matters related to the culture, history, and philosophy of India. Without Pandit's incredible leadership, the idea of a campaign would likely have been significantly postponed. Lastly, I'd like to say in this environment of learning that many parents make enormous sacrifices to give their children a better life. And I'm sure some of you can maybe attest to that. In addition, they prepare them for the careers and lives that they may lead in the future. Now, as I've come to know Pandit, it has become painfully obvious that he was the beneficiary of an incredible upbringing. And I hope to take one moment to recognize Pandit's mother, who is joining us today, and the entire family for their contributions to the Center for Indic Studies in promoting the SALT model of education. We have a small gift from Mrs. Ramsamooj, which Wendy Skinner, who works in my office, will be handing Mrs. Ramsamooj. And simply, we, on behalf of the University of Massachusetts Dartmouth, would like to thank the Ramsamooj family, and especially Pandit, for everything he's done. We greatly appreciate all you mean to this university and to the Center for Indic Studies. Thank you very much, and God bless.
Thank you very much.
Can we hold one picture?
Want to take a picture? Okay, great.
Thank you for coming. You're welcome.
Thanks, Michael. All right, so just a few more comments and then we are on our way. So Pandit Ramsamooj, I want to just give a brief introduction. I think Dean Hogan already gave him introduction. Just want to add that he has a degree in robotics engineering from University of Wisconsin, and he has Master of Education from Cambridge College here in Massachusetts. His formal education, but as you will see, and some of you already know that from Pandit Ramsamooj's perspective, formal education is only a formality, because he does believe in true education, and his dedication is really to youth. I have been 2 times to Trinidad and Tobago, where he grew up, and I met with people who had seen him 25 years ago, and they recognized because he was teaching them on weekend or something like that. I went around the country. It was wonderful to people recognizing him, not being in touch, but remembering, oh yeah, you were the one who taught on the weekends and this and that. So I think he was very dedicated right from the beginning. He brought his dedication here.